Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about my childhood hero that has fallen from grace. He has fallen very, very hard over the years, but it just gets worse and worse. We're going to talk about Hulk Hogan. So back when I was a kid, mid 80s to early 90s, I was really into professional wrestling, and I was the right age at the right time for Hulkamania. The thing is that the Hulk was my hero. I idolized the guy. He was larger than life, and every time the WWF was in town, I made my dad take me. And every time he came out with that awesome opening track that up until this day, I think it's a really good song. Very much a product of the 80s, but the thing is, I still get goosebumps when I hear it. You know, in that opening track, there's even references to American patriotism. And in the back end of Hulkamania, especially when he was dealing with Sergeant Slaughter, he would always come out with a really big American flag. But the thing is that they sort of tied the image of Hulk Hogan with being an American hero. The thing is that I did grow out of wrestling. I think there was like a specific date when that happened. After the LA riots, I traveled to San Francisco with my dad. The WWF were in San Francisco at the time doing house shows, and they had the same matches that they were going to have in Los Angeles. The thing is that I found out the people that won those matches in San Francisco later on would win the same matches in Los Angeles, and I discovered that wrestling was fake. It just broke me. I know back in the day everyone would tell me it's fake, it's staged. I was in complete denial as a kid. So the thing is that I moved on, I stopped watching wrestling. I got really into Star Trek for some reason, and also into comic books. Now, as an adult, I started hearing all these scandals that Hulk Hogan was dealing with, many of them being very, very embarrassing. And even though as an adult, it sort of hurt. The guy was like my ultimate hero back when I was a kid, and now he's being a total idiot all the time. And the thing is that the dude was involved with a lot of sketchy stuff over the years. Ethically very complicated. But the thing is, I always felt that Hulk Hogan did a terrible job taking care of his legacy. And then we get to all the allegations that he's a racist. I remember like a couple years back, there was like this recording that had surfaced where you hear Terry, that's Hulk Hogan's real name, using the N-word. And obviously he had another gigantic scandal revolving around that. But the thing is that Hulk Hogan, as time progresses, came off more and more as a douchebag. And we're talking about a guy that built up his image being this squeaky clean guy that told you to pray, take your vitamins, obey your parents, to be a patriot. This wouldn't have surprised me with any other wrestler except for the racist part. Be it Ric Flair, Jake the Snake Roberts, Macho Man Randy Savage, but Hulk Hogan is like, it hurt like when I started to find out about these things. I think that the only guy from this era that tops Hulk Hogan is possibly Jimmy Superfly Snuka, who killed his girlfriend. Like, homicide's probably the worst thing you could do. So now we have Hulk Hogan siding with the Republicans, giving his endorsement to Donald Trump. And personally, I have no issues with that. I do not share any of those political views that Donald Trump has by any stretch of the imagination. But I think it's part of a healthy democracy, having different views, even though those views might be very bad for democracy itself, but that's my personal opinion. But the thing is that when Hulk Hogan at the Republican National Convention gave his endorsement, but the thing is that he did in kayfabe. That's a term when a wrestler's in character. So he comes out as the character of Hulk Hogan. He does his normal shtick. But the thing is that you just see this really old guy, way past his prime, endorsing a candidate that's way too sketchy. I think that the Republicans made a massive mistake going for Trump. I feel like Donald Trump, just like Hulk Hogan, he's way past his prime. I might be wrong, but I feel like Trump has lost his magic, that charismatic ability to move the masses. And he comes off more and more as a one-trick pony. But that aside, let's get into what happened very recently with Hulk Hogan. He was at an event, and he starts getting political. And again, if he has different political views, it's okay with me, but then things get really awkward and racist. And there I feel like he sort of crosses the line. And again, United States, you have free speech. All good. But you're making yourself look like an idiot. And even the crowd starts like, first they're cheering him on, and as it progresses, they're like, oh no, that's not really funny. So first he starts talking about he's going to body slam Kamala Harris and then leg drop her. That's weird and awkward, but I guess I understand the metaphor. Then she goes into Kamala, chameleon, into that whole thing that Trump also is doing, that she code switches depending with the public that she's with. I can speak from experience, even though I don't know if she does this to pander or not, but code switching is normal when you live in a multicultural environment. I do it all the time, especially me being an Argentinian, dealing with other Latin Americans. I have to change the way I talk. But I also code switch when I talk to people from the United States, depending on where they're from. I find myself in subconscious, like sort of changing the way I talk and how I go into the conversation. I guess for a person like Hulk Hogan, who sort of remains always in the same social circles and the same culture group, he doesn't understand why people would code switch. Whatever. If he decides to criticize someone for that, I guess it's out of ignorance. But then he just gets harder and harder into these racist ideas. And he actually makes a reference that Kamala is Native American. I'm not going to repeat what he said. Just go find the video. It's out there. My jaw just dropped. He's racist and he's not knowing which race he's trying to be a bigot to, because, again, he's referencing Native Americans. Kamala Harris is of South Asian descent. Part of her family comes from India. They're not Native Americans. They're not Indians from the United States. So personally, I really think that in this case with Hulk Hogan, he's not pandering to the audience. I think that it's possible that he's always been a racist and he just felt comfortable in that whole situation. And he started to let things fly. So, man, that's really bad. So I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.